Mic? Okay, there we go. There we go. There we go. All right. Okay. Got that situation all figured out. And we are super good to go now. Was wondering why I wasn't getting any audio. Okay. All right. What is going on, everyone? Welcome to our Monday streams. We are going to be talking about the Somali fraud scandal. So, buckle up, guys. It's going to be a really interesting topic to talk about because there's a lot going on actually, and I don't know if you guys happen to have X, but I am unfortunately very active on X, and I've been seeing a lot of things here on X. So we're gonna go ahead and roll into that. Sorry, guys, I'm pretty tired today. So I'm gonna start with, I guess maybe the latest news. Yeah, updated 41 minutes ago. All right. So, um, oh, whoopsies. Whoopsies. Which, uh-oh. Let's, fix that real quick. um, I think I'm capturing the wrong. Yeah, there we go. Capturing the wrong monitor there. So let's turn that off. Okay. All right. So, updated 41 minutes ago. Trump, the Trump administration froze billions in child care funding to 5 different states. Okay. Well, we could pretty much already guess which one of these states, right? Obviously, Minnesota is going to be one of them. California, Colorado, Illinois, and New York. So those 5 states. And from what I saw, there was some kind of fallout, I guess. Let's see what else this says here. The hold on funds is due to the fraud, right? The officials shared links to reports of fraud. Let's see. Child care money is used to subsidize care for right. More than 7 billion of funds were meant for um, child care. 1.4 million children around the country are supported by federal child care funding. However, however, that's not the case because let's see. As national attention focuses on the growing fraud scandal in Minnesota, which federal prosecutors estimate could top $9 billion. Guys, this is billions of dollars here. Uh, to the state's Democratic Governor Tim Walz has announced he is dropping out of his reelection campaign. Okay. Right before New Year's, a viral social media video by YouTuber Nick Shirley, which has been covering this to a very, very uh, far extent, not proper grammar. He's been on top of it. What I'm going to say. Um, says amplified by Elon Musk, right? Because he's posted on X as well. Vice President J.D. Vance and Attorney General Pam Bondi pushed the fraud story into the center of the conversation. Right. Yeah. Yeah, because all of the attention was on them because of the massive, massive backstabbing to the American people when it came to the Epstein files being released, right? Getting redaction after redaction after redaction. Right. So here, they're pushing this to be the main story, which this absolutely should be talked about. This absolutely should be talked about. There's no question about that. But it's pretty convenient that they would push this fraud scandal, right? While, quietly still redacting the Epstein files, right? Because it's still going to be it's still going to be like a couple of years, right? When Arc 2 comes out, that's when the Epstein files will be released unredacted, of course. Oh man, this is such a shit show. Okay, so um stoking the scandal that has been brewing in the state politics for years since 2018. Okay, these programs started since 2018. That's that's 6 years. No, 6 years. It's 2026 now. 8 years. Um, 8 years they've essentially been scamming people, right? And they've been allowing this to happen. They've been allowing this to happen. All right, because I saw a post on X too that um there was actually, let me see if I can here, let's pull up X real quick. Let's pull up X, and then let's see. Somali. Phone number. Oops. Definitely spelled that wrong. Let's see. Okay, so phone number to Somalian daycare center goes straight to Tim Wall's office. So they knew about this, right? They knew all of this fraud was happening. What I'm curious to find out is, well, who benefited from it? I would imagine that Tim Walls benefited from it, because if he knew about it, right, and all of these phone numbers are being linked to his office, right? So let's continue here. In the wake of the video, the Trump administration announced it is pausing federal funding to childcare in Minnesota, with President Trump calling Minnesota a hub of fraudulent money laundering activity. Let's not get started on Trump, because there's a lot of stuff that we could say about Trump. So let's not go down that rabbit hole. Let's try and focus on the main topic today. The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services also announced sweeping changes to how all states must submit claims for Medicaid support. Daycares, including requiring a justification and a receipt or photo evidence before we send money to a state. well, well, there's a where there's a will, there's always a way to get around loopholes, right? And scammers are going to do whatever they can to scam. So it doesn't matter. Well, I mean, it does matter, because we can close up every single loophole that we can think of. Um, but then they just might go back to AI scamming, which, by the way, guys, when it comes to scamming, make sure that you guard your information as much as possible. I know it's not exactly possible today because of the fights for um, privacy and how that's doing, which isn't great. With them sending Kiani and William to prison just for creating a privacy app. But guard your information, because I have been getting texts from numbers I don't know, obviously, about phone plane plane tickets, boarding passes, all kinds of different stuff. So um, that's a scam going around. And there's also another scam. They are calling people This was a while back, but they're calling people and they're using AI to mimic whoever it is that the name is popping up under caller ID wise, um, to convince the people they're trying to scam right out of money. And sometimes they use hostage situations to convince them to, because when you're scared, right, you're going to be in your fight or flight mode, and then it a lot of times you can make bad decisions that way. Um, so this is what's really heartbreaking about this. So this is the listed location of the auditing firm that performed the audits for both the Minnesota and Ohio. Oh, for both the Minnesota and Ohio on the NGOs, we have linked to the potential fraud. Yeah. So it begs the question, why in the fuck is a place like this? Well, because it was a scam from the start, right? It was a scam from the start. And our elected representatives knew about this. And so here they are, right? Here's another one. Oh, hang on. Here, let me turn that off. Why is that? Okay, I don't know why it's not. Okay, well, that's weird. Anyways, okay, so Minnesota sent 12 million in federal meal funds to a Somali restaurant, claiming to feed 4 to 6,000 kids daily, which the FBI had watched for 6 weeks, and about 40 people showed up. And there was another one, I think. Yeah, but there was also someone who was getting paid out. Someone was getting bribed for something as well. I'm trying to figure out my audio situation here. Maybe I have to unplug. Here, give me just a second, guys. All right.
People a day coming and going. The jury was shown dozens of invoices.
Okay, well now the audio isn't coming out. I might have to go to my settings here. Give me just a second, guys.
In December of 2021, the FBI.
There we go. Let me turn that volume down because that volume is way loud. Way loud.
Okay. Installed a surveillance camera overlooking this building just off Lake Street in Minneapolis. At the time, it was Safari Restaurant, which overall took in $12 million in federal child meal payments through Feeding Our Future. Safari's former co-owner, Salim Saeed, is on trial alongside Amy Bach, the Feeding Our Future executive director. Safari claimed to feed 4,000 to 6,000 kids a day. Its invoices and meal counts shown to the jury alongside the video. An FBI agent testifying that an average of 40 people came and went during the 6 weeks it was surveilled. The FBI set up a total of 12 cameras at sites claiming to serve extraordinary numbers of meals. Another was at a deli in St. Paul, also registered by defendant Salim Saeed, which claimed 1,800 meals per day. The video shown to the jury showed an average of 23 people a day coming and going. The jury was shown dozens of invoices, meal counts, and emails seized from Feeding Our Future's headquarters in St. Anthony. Some showed links to websites that randomly generated names and ages pages to create rosters of children who were served meals. Many were signed or sent by Amy Bach, who's charged with wire fraud, along with bribery for the alleged kickbacks that she received. Her defense attorney tried to raise doubt when it cross-examined the FBI agent that they didn't see the back entrance where it's possible meals left packed in trucks for delivery. He pushed back, insisting they'd still see congestion. To that volume, he said, I would say it would not make any sense.
That case became one of the biggest COVID-era frauds in America. And the kicker, Minnesota's own Department of Education had red flags. Massive spikes in reimbursement requests, impossible meal counts, and they still rubber stamped the paperwork. Now, this new audit proves what everyone with a brain has been saying for years: incompetence starts at the top. When the governor's own office is sloppy with receipts, how can he possibly keep his agencies in line? Republican Senate Leader Mark Johnson said it perfectly. Quote, sloppy accountability at the top breeds waste and abuse everywhere else. And he's right about that. You cannot preach fiscal responsibility when you are overpaying employees, losing state property, and mismanaging vendor payments. And it's not just the feeding our future mess. We've also got the Autism Services fraud case, another multi-million-dollar scam in the same state, involving clinics billing for therapy that never happened. And to make it worse, some of those same providers were linked to the Feeding Our Future network. It's the same pattern: inflated invoices, non-existent oversight, and zero accountability.
Yep. Yep. Let's see. So this is something that really worries me here. Put this back here. Okay, so I was trying to look this up as the video was playing. So, let's see. The massive sprawling 1 billion welfare scheme engulfing Minnesota are now casting fresh scrutiny on an old and transfer network by Somali Americans to send remittances back to their loved ones and friends. A system U.S. officials have warned can be siphoned or taxed by the terrorist group Al-Shabaab. Okay. So the Somalians, who are not from here, but were given amnesty, right? Thanks to Trump. And the Biden administration, of course, too, right? But these people who are not born here do not care about the American way of life, do not care about America in general. That fraud, and I wouldn't even say it's 1 billion. I would say it's probably almost all of it, to be sent back over to Somalia, over to fund Al-Shabaab. Our tax-paying dollars are going to everything else but us. And these bastards, they knew about it. They knew about it. This motherfucker, he knew about it. He knew about it, obviously. And it gets even worse. It gets even worse, guys. So check this out.
This shit cannot be real life. Let me introduce you to Abdi Desain. Abdi is currently running for state Congress in Minnesota, and he is a Somali business owner. What type of business do you think he owns? Come on, just take a guess. Yeah, he owns the Blooming Kids Child Care Center. I seriously wish I was making that shit up. Now, how many violations do you think the Blooming Kids Child Care Center has received over the last 3 years? 82. Oh, and they don't just get caught doing one thing bad. No, they receive violations for a variety of things. No first aid kits, unsanitary conditions, no supervision for the kids, violating their license agreement by not operating within the terms, actually beating some of the kids. They got called out for not having any furniture, not having any furnishings, not having any equipment, not having any toys. They actually got caught not even having a single chair in the entire facility. Literally, this building was just bare bones and empty. And they claim to take care of 150 plus children and receive millions of dollars in taxpayer funding every year. Now the guy that owns that is probably going to be in Minnesota's Congress. This shit just keeps getting worse.
A lot worse, actually. And, well, because our votes matter, right? Our votes matter, right? So, one may wonder, are these people ever going to be really facing any kind of consequences for their actions? I don't know, to be honest with you. I really don't know. Because, well, obviously we can't really trust our own government to really get the job done, to really do what they are supposed to do, right? To serve the people, not the other way around. But, we obviously know that they serve themselves. And, anything that is outside of the narrative is obviously something that's not going to be done. So, you know, it's it's only left up for really us to do, right? It's very unfortunate. Very unfortunate. So we have to put pressure on our politicians. I'm talking about immense pressure on our politicians to do the right fucking thing. To do the right thing. But obviously, since this really fits the narrative that the Democrats are the one that's doing it, then the Republicans are going to jump on that, and it's just going to be the same old fucking shit, the same old song and dance, man. Same old song and dance. People are really getting tired of the same thing over and over and over again. They really are. They're getting tired of it. I mean, people's money is literally being wasted. If they're going to use this money to not only just leave military equipment in Afghanistan, but also allow fraud to, I mean, uh, 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 to a degree so massive that some countries can't even afford $9 billion, right? Then we should all stop paying taxes. I mean, through Pollock v. Farmers Loan and Trust Company, right? Or through that ruling from the Supreme Court in 1894, federal income tax was found unconstitutional anyways. So we shouldn't even really be paying taxes. If our money is going to be abused like this, which, I mean, you can't even really call it money at this point. It's basically nothing. It's basically nothing. We're not backed by anything, right? We're off the gold. The only people that actually have assets, the only people who actually have money is definitely not the vast majority of Americans. Definitely not. It's going to be the wealthy. That's who actually has the money, right? The politicians, those who buy them, right? Especially foreign interests, namely a certain country overseas that likes to wear small hats. That's the country that we're talking about. So, I mean, what the fuck, man? It's just going to keep getting worse. It's just going to keep getting worse. Unfortunately, but it's just going to keep getting worse. And we really got to do something about it. But honestly, guys, I don't think that, and this isn't me being a Debbie Downer, but this is just me being realistic here. I don't think that us refusing to pay taxes is really going to do anything. You know, we're just children kicking and screaming while our mom is just looking at us going, oh, that's cute, right? Um, and I say that because our money means nothing. We have no money at all. We don't. And they know that. They know that. Because the Federal Reserve is controlled by a few wealthy elite, right? And they're the ones who actually run the country. They're not it's not the government, right? The government is just a lapdog for those wealthy elite. Because those wealthy elite can buy off those politicians, you know, and just goes from there. But we all need to protest. I mean, all and I don't even know what taking office would really do anyways. I think this system is too far gone. Unfortunately, I think this system is way too far gone. Way too far gone to be fixed. So it just needs to be rewritten from the ground up. It needs to be redone completely. Because this system only benefits a select few people. Doesn't benefit Americans as a whole, obviously. When illegals get $33 billion in funding over disabled veterans who only get $3, you know, people should have stopped paying taxes a long time ago. So, and the fact that they gave themselves the right, the Constitution, they amended the Constitution. The government amended the Constitution to give itself the right, especially after the Supreme Court, the law of, well, I mean, not the law of the land because that's the Constitution, obviously. But right under that, whatever the Supreme Court rules, they decided to supersede the Supreme Court and give themselves the right to tax all of us unapportioned. So they can just set a tax, a blanket tax. Right. Oh boy. Listen, we're watching history repeat. Okay? Or not watching history repeat. We're watching the cycle repeat. History is just recording it. And there's only one way that this ends, because people are going to get fed up with their money being wasted, stolen from them, right, by the biggest thug organization, our government. And, well, um, they're gonna take to the streets. They're gonna protest, and so they'll be persecuted because freedom of speech doesn't exist anymore. No, no. Try talking about a specific country. You will absolutely be shadow banned. You'll be targeted, especially if you have a larger following. Um, which is exactly what happened with Charlie, unfortunately. So people are going to have about enough of it, and they're going to revolt. They're going to rebel, and that's going to be the start of chaos. And that will lead to war, obviously, which I don't think will really be successful because, I mean, the government has AI and they can contract all kinds of companies, right, to work for them, use their AI. You know, the government have that. They have drones. They've got all kinds of shit that the American people just don't have, obviously, for reasons. You know that something is coming soon when they start coming to you, the law abiding citizen, and trying to take your rights away, calling your tools to defend yourself weapons of war, while they have nukes and you don't. You don't know what weapons of war are? Nukes are weapons of war. So how about we take the nukes away from the government? How about we take these missiles away from the government? These drones away from the government? How about we start doing that? But no. No, the reason they're doing that is because, well, they know that if you have the ability to defend yourself, well, they're not really going to try so hard to take all of your rights away. But the very second that you don't have anything to defend yourself, which is why they're slowly indoctrinating people little by little, each and every generation, to give up their Second Amendment right, which is the most important amendment of the Constitution. Um, they're inching slowly and slowly and slowly, chipping at our rights little by little until we get to the point to where we're wondering what in the fuck happened. Right? Comes with property. I saw a video not too long ago where there was this guy who's a business owner, um was literally hit with crazy property taxes, man. And then they just made it super hard for him to go and get no, I don't know, it wasn't property. It was car insurance. That's right. It was car insurance. Um and they made it super difficult for him to go and get those things insured. And even when he had all the documentation, they were still fucking up. The local government, right? The state government, actually. And people just get tired of it. You want to know what happens when people get tired of tyranny? You get killdozer. That's what happens. That is exactly what happens when people get fucking fed up with the system that only exploits them and tells them to shut up and just take what you're given. If you're given anything but scraps, people are getting fed up with it, man. They're getting so fed up with it. So fed up with it. So, and honestly, I for one, I'm getting so fed up with this shit too. When I started YouTube, I didn't think it was going to be anything like this, but it's so exhausting every single day to cover this kind of shit, dude. But then again, we're living in times where it's that for a reason. The more you know, the more exhausted you get, the less tolerated or the less tolerant you become. So, you know, something's got to change or people are going to lose their shit. Groceries are already starting to become unaffordable. Gas prices, same thing. Rent, obviously, way, way, way too high. Right. I just saw not too long ago some woman on X. She had a 800 credit score. Right, an 800 credit score. Okay, does pretty well for herself, but still can't afford a mortgage. So that's insane. That is absolutely insane. Makes you wonder, you know, what the future is going to look like for America. I mean, well, I would say that America hasn't been America for a long time. When 1913 hit, and as soon as Congress signed the Federal Reserve Act, it was over with. America stopped being America in 1913. Now we are living. We are literally living under an authoritarian regime. I want you all to understand that we are living in we are literally living under an authoritarian regime, and it's not who you think, right? Because Trump is just a pawn. Biden, Kamala, they're all pawns. Rothschilds, Rockefellers, right? Those guys, those families, excuse me, those wealthy elite are the ones that run the country. There's literally a meeting, or maybe they canceled this one, but there's literally a meeting every single year. Actually, here, let me see. Let's see. I forget what this the Bilderberg. That's right. That's right. There's literally every single year a group of wealthy elite who meet together or who come together and they meet. It's called the Bilderberg meetings. Okay. Those people are the ones who actually run the country. Okay. Right. Because they're the ones who are buying off these politicians. Right. So our votes don't matter because we can't buy millions and billions of dollars, to essentially bribe politicians to do whatever we want them to do. Matter of fact, you and me, we're limited to $2,500, while super PACs can send millions. Right. And that's exactly why all of these politicians are selling out so badly. And that's exactly why all of these all of this fraud happens, right? It's exactly why all of this fraud happens. So people are going to get fed up with it, man. And that's just going to lead to massive. If guys, look, if we thought that the summer of love, right, with Portland burning to the ground essentially, if we thought that was bad, it's going to be a fucking daycare compared to what's coming. And I anticipate within the next 5 years, because all right, I'm gonna paint a picture for you guys that just joined. I'm gonna paint a picture for you, okay? 1913, the government gave itself the right to tax the American people, okay, and then they also gave a select few the ability to control the dollar, okay? Because that's what the Federal Reserve does. They print money, they have control over the dollar itself. Then in 1913, the government said, okay, well now the American people can't have their gold, okay? So then they forced everyone onto the dollar. Now, obviously, you can buy gold, right? But the fact that they confiscated the gold from average American people, and forced them on the dollar, and then later in 1971, getting off of the gold standard, right? Now, you and I, we basically have nothing. And so they're trying to push us into a digital um, currency. And they're also talking about digital ID now. So we're already there. We're already there. This is absolutely going to have massive ramifications. Massive ramifications. And this is the beginning of the end for this country. I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, but it is. This is exactly what it is. So, but yeah, well, this is pretty much all that I wanted to talk about today. Um, so, oh boy, yeah, it's gonna get interesting the next few years. What I would suggest you guys do, okay? The money that you do have now, before the dollar loses any more value, it's already lost 97% since 1913, by the way. I would absolutely encourage you guys to find somewhere, a hillside, a mountainside, somewhere you got a good vantage point, dig a hole, okay, and stow away any, pretty much make a bug out location. If you guys don't know what a bug out location is, it's pretty much a location that you build yourself, and you store food, water, medical equipment, ammunition, weapons, um, and such event of a fallout, right? Not a nuclear fallout, obviously, but whenever massive unrest happens, then you have somewhere to go to. Okay. For years, doomsday preppers were mocked, they were ridiculed for taking precautions. But now it's a different story, because we have these same wealthy few who meet regularly, once annually, right, through the Bilderberg meetings. They already have their bunkers. Okay, I don't know if you guys have seen posts from these wealthy people, but I do know that Kim Kardashian is one of them, where she was posting some things about her bunkers and everything like that. Uh, mm, it's gonna get pretty interesting. So, try your best. Try your best to get all of the resources that you can for yourself and your family, and make a bug out location, man. Um, see, help us in the um Eritrea divide, Somalia. Uh, we let we let you rip off Somali oil, like they did your tax system. Turkey gonna rip off Somalia oil. I don't know a whole lot about that, um, are you talking about what the U.S. is doing? Oh, okay. No, 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 no. I don't know a whole lot about the Eritrea. Eritrea. Am I pronouncing that right? Eritrea. Um, USA should help us. You're Christian. I think. Um, well, here's my take, and you may not like this. Okay, and honestly, I don't really care if you do or don't. Um, our founding fathers had warned us about being neutral. Okay. So the very fact that we have bases and we're trying to help out other nations and stick our noses where it doesn't belong is exactly the problem. Okay. So we all should help each other. That's true. But at the same time, countries should not be getting involved with one another. Okay. Um, that being said, you know, uh, what's going on in Somalia? Like, why can't you guys? Oh, yeah. Why can't you guys just kind of stand up and you know defend yourselves? You know, isn't there like a regime there that you guys can? I mean, it's not a superpower, right? The country's not a superpower, so I wouldn't imagine that you guys have like. I mean, but the only country here on this planet are that has a Second Amendment is here the U.S. So um, I see your comment popping up, but I'm not seeing it come up in my feed. So I don't know why it's not coming. I don't know why it's not showing up in my feed here. Um, am I a civilian, political, uneducated? No, I'm a United States veteran of the United States Air Force. So I know a lot about politics. Since I was pretty much the dog of the government. Um, oh, Eritrean Zionist Christian. Okay, okay. From Denmark, private Catholic school. Okay. Well, if I remember correctly, um, you be very careful about that. Be very careful about that, because they do raise Zionist Christians up to be exploited by a certain country. Um, well, I'm not a soldier. I wasn't a soldier. I was an airman. But I'm not gonna hound you for that. Yes, yes, we were considered a number. We were considered expendable, very expendable. Matter of fact, I do have a story about that. Um, Soldiers is dumb. To submit since all my soldiers in Eritrea are is expendable. Oh yeah. Well, I mean, so here's the thing. Sometimes, um, listen to your rabbi. Okay. All right. Later. Okay. Look, I've put years of research into the Bible. Okay. I was studying to be a pastor or a rabbi myself. Um, and I listen. There's not a single pastor or rabbi that could ever tell me that I'm wrong about the Bible. It's exactly why I'm not Christian. It's exactly why I'm not Jewish. Exactly why I'm not Muslim. That's exactly why I am not any kind of religious. Okay. And if you want to get into that, I can set up a live stream for religion. But what I will say right now is the Abrahamic religions themselves are not what you think they are. They're not. They're not. They're not. Because I'm going to give you this to look into. Okay, the laws of Moses. Okay, is supposed to be the law that saves you, right? That is per God on Mount Sinai. Okay. Well, Abraham himself married his half sister, his incestuous marriage, and well, that is expressly forbidden in the laws of Moses. Expressly forbidden. It's a sin and punishable by being taken outside the camp and stoned to death. Okay, that's what the laws of Moses call for. Well, that didn't happen with Abraham, obviously. Matter of fact, God called him righteous. So, but yeah, go ahead, go listen to your rabbi. Go listen to your rabbi. Let him lie to you. Let him lie to you and tell them and tell you all that you want to hear, and you continue to get exploited. Okay, that's fine. I mean, we weren't even really going to be talking about religion today, but there we are. There we are. Thanks for stopping by, though. I appreciate you stopping by and trying to convince me and American citizens to go and help you, which I have no obligation to do anyways. Nor should I do. So you guys got to be able to help yourselves. Okay, that is your country. I have nothing to do with that country. Well, actually, the fact that Somalians are stealing our money. Okay. Um, Sending it back to Somalia, funding the terrorist organization over there, Al Shabaab. So, nope, don't think so. Don't think so. Anyways, guys, I am going to go ahead since there's not a whole lot of people that joined for the live stream tonight. I'm going to go ahead and cut it here. Cut it here. So, thanks so much for those of you who did join. Again, for those of you who are joining after, I hope that whatever I talked about here has helped you out at all. Whether it was about the Somalian fraud scam or excuse me, the Somalian fraud scandal, or I guess you could say the religious talk. But anyways, I hope that whatever we talked about helped you out. If it did, please make sure you like, share, subscribe, join the family. So, but remember to take care of yourselves, both mind and body. Take care of each other. I love you all. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye, guys.